Hi guys, I'm Tony Alden, and today we're going to play with the function orgMapEntries that allows us to apply a function at each headline on an org buffer. So we have an org buffer here with 5 headlines, and we are going to use that function to do things. So the first thing that we are going to do is to add a property bar with some random value here to each headline in the buffer. So let's do that. So we have that function. We are going to look at the help buffer. So it takes a func argument, a match scope, and other arguments. So what it does, it's call function at each line selected by match in scope. So we are not looking at scope today, but we are going to look at match. But for the first example, we are not going to restrict the headline. We are going to do it for each headline. So here we need a function, so we are going to use a lambda function. So we are going to set the property. This is what we want to do. So what does that function? It takes a property on a value and it applies on the current entry when we are in the buffer, in the org buffer. So we can try it before to see exactly what how to apply it. So look at the bottom. We are in the mini buffer. We passed org set property. We want to set the property bar upcase to the value, let's say 2. Up. Do you see what did happen? So we have we added that property. So we are going to do this for each headline. So we just have to go in the not buffer bar and up, and let's say we put 2 right now, and then we are going to use a random number. So we passed it in the mini buffer, and an error sequence 2 sequence is not a sequence 2. So here the error is that we have to pass a string. So here we have our 5 properties that have been added. Okay, so we undo, we go back to a buffer, and let's say we want to put a random number. So random, we can see if we eval the last expression, look at the echo array at the bottom, we will see some random number. As we need to pass a string, so we are going to convert it to a string. And now if we copy this and go to the full buffer, passed in the mini buffer, and apply it, and here we have our random number that have been added to the property bar for each headline. So this is the first play. Second play is going to be, so here you not this one, but orgMapEntries. We are in the help buffer and call function at each headline selected by match. So a match can be something like here we have the first parameter, first argument passed to orgEntries, and we can pass here the match. So we are going to add a random number, a property bar with a random number only to the headline of level 2. Okay, so this is the way to write this, and there is many other way to match the inline and so select the inline you want or we want to apply something. So let's go back here and we apply. So normally it should apply only for inline 1.1 and inline 2.1. And this is what happened. So we have one here and one here because we just restrict to the inline of level 2. So this was the second play of today. If I'm not wrong, I have two or three more, so bear with me. But before doing that, I want to mention this article by Kaushal Modi, so that have more example of the matching. So Kaushal Modi is the guy that the author of Ox Hugo, so the expert for backend for Hugo, that maybe you know him, and he had this great article that I will put in the description below the video, looping through Ormoc heading, and this section is really interesting that you have all the I don't know if it's all, but a large number of way to match. So the one that we used today was this one with the level equal to 2. So there is you can match we can match to do, we can match other things. So check this article if you want to do more advanced selection on your headings. So now something that we didn't look at is that the function argmac entry. So the return value of calls to the function will be collected and returned as a list. So this is not because we are mapping the headlines that we have to modify the buffer. We can just recuperate, collect some information if we want, or do some side effects that have nothing to do with the current buffer. Let's say we no longer, no, I will go here. We no longer want to set something. This is still a function, so we keep the lambda. We no longer are interested in the match part, in the filter part of the headlines. But let's just say that we put 2. Or no, better, no. First, we are going to put 2. So each time, maybe it's more readable like this. So functions that take nothing and return 2. We go back to foo here, and another time in the mini buffer, we apply it and look at the echo area, the message that we have, that is not the message but the value returned. So we have 2 because we loop on each headline, we return 2 for each headline, and this is collected in that list returned by the function. So we can do something with random. So it's just to show you that things change. So you see at the bottom we have collected. So we can do really whatever we want. We don't have to modify this buffer. So for instance, what we can do, let's say we want something that is always interesting to have in this toolkit is to print result in the message buffer. It's helpful to debug or try things or try to understand what's going on. So we are going to do it right now. So So what can we pass here? So I wanted to show you something that we can here. Let's say we are going to print to loop to each inline, and we are going to send to the message buffer, so to print each value of the inline, so this path, each value. So to do that, we can use the function, two functions. So this one, org element at point. So this one allow to pass the element at point in an org buffer. So let's do this here. For instance, if we do this, so right now I'm using not only in the mini buffer, not only the mini buffer, but we pretty print the value, so it will show up in another buffer. So we're at the inline 1, and if we use that function, we get this list. So with many information on that inline. So we have the row value, that is the inline. We have the property foo here, this one that we set, and we have other information. For instance, we have the level, we have here no tag. Okay, so here we don't have any tag, we don't have to do. Let's say we add a to do, and we do it again to see there. So you see now we have a value for the to do. We have which is that string. So you really can do many things with the context around the inline you are in. So we are just going to use row value. Okay, so we passed it. We pass the element, and come in ND fashion, so element property. So this function allow to, we can extract the value from the property of an element. So when we use org element iPont, we get an element, and with that function we can extract one of the properties. So let's extract this one. Maybe we can do something like this. No, maybe not like this, but okay. Okay, so it doesn't matter, but okay. So we copy it. Now we are here, and we passed it. At the bottom, the list that has been collected. And now if we look at the message buffer, we see so the value returned and what we've just printed. So this is one of the things that that is possible. And there is a last one that I think it's cool to do that. It's almost the same, but what we're going to do is to send instead of sending those values, those title, row value or title in the message buffer, we're going to pick a buffer and insert it in a buffer. So okay, so maybe we can keep this one and do another one. We are going to just look at this one. So we no longer need the message. What we are going to do is to bind this to, for instance, we can call it, okay, so headline. We call it headline, and now we have that headline that we bind headline to the row value property that we get from the org element at point. So this is what we have, and instead of sending it to the message to the buffer message, we are going to use this this macro, which take a buffer or a name and execute the form in body with buffer or name temporarily current. So using that one, we are going to take the buffer bar, name bar, that we are going to open yes, we can say open before doing that. And what we do is that we insert the headline. Okay, we call a new line, and maybe it's just that we are going to do so. We copy this, we go back to foo, we open a buffer bar. Okay, so we have foo here, and what I want is this. Okay, so now we have this configuration with the buffer bar here. This is the function, the forms that we want to apply. So we are going to loop for each headline, recuperate the row value of the headline, and we insert it in the buffer bar. So normally, if everything works correctly, we should see the headlines appeared in the next in the buffer bar. So we passed, and that's it. Isn't it that so cool? So there are many things that can be done, and the sky's the limit. I think it's a sentence. So I hope you enjoy the video, and see you next time.